Even just talking about it right now, I don't feel the same way as you do. It still is. Actually, this episode is a bit hard.
We spoke about some very, very deep things, and there was something which I guess triggered you, in this, as we were speaking. Maybe we can dive a little bit deeper. What was it that, which triggered you? What was the emotion, or what was it that did you feel triggered?
Oh, wow. Okay. I think probably maybe two things.
Okay.
I think number one is that it's been a while since I spoke about this.
Okay.
I think it was a very big part of my life, maybe like 6-7 months ago. It was a very big part of our relationship. Not gonna lie, it did cause a lot of misunderstandings. It was very hard for us. I think nobody really talks about how it takes a toll on your marriage.
Yeah.
Like fertility, right? Trying for a child. So I think it's been a while since I spoke about it. So I think like all of my emotions probably just resurfaced. That's one.
Understand.
But I think the main part of it, like I was also reflecting. So I what made me break down, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's because the optimism that you have, that it's great. To be very honest, it's what's been helping me remain positive in this process. I think it'll be very hard if you probably feel defeated in it. So it definitely helps that you are very uplifting and positive about it, and like you always reassure me that no, don't worry, we will be able to have a child, and stay strong, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's so funny how, although it's the right thing, it's probably maybe the thing that I don't want to hear.
Okay.
Yeah, from maybe I'm trying to understand as well, like why does that trigger a person,
Yeah,
right? Why does optimism trigger a
yeah.
person? I think it's because you don't have it. So at this moment, like somebody who
Okay.
has got a child, and if they were to sit with me and tell me it gets better, and then they're like hugging their kid in front of me, no, it doesn't, because I don't know what that feels like. I am not there.
Okay.
I am here. And where I
understand.
am right now is painful. It's hard. It's hard seeing someone sit in a cafe, having a meal with their child. It's hard seeing, and for me, I'm a family lawyer, so I
Yeah.
literally deal with parents and their
Yes.
kids. It's hard. The emotional part is hard because you can't help but ask yourself, like, when will that be me? So, like, the optimism is great. It's needed. But sometimes maybe it's just, I don't really know how to explain it,
So
actually.
if I understand it a little bit more, if I get it right, is when you are encountering this feeling of maybe a yearning of like want of something, would it be different if, for example, instead of someone being very, you can do it, no problem, think positive and everything, but actually go and actually tap the person's back and say, I know how hard this is,
Yeah.
and don't worry,
Yeah. That's
we're in the road
what we need.
together,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I think that's
That's
exactly what women who are going through this, I
Yeah.
think that's exactly what they need. Is for someone to tell them that, actually, it's for someone to not say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to just sit with you in your feelings. I think like it's so common these days when somebody is going through like fertility issues. I'm sure you've heard this as well, and they always tell you this one thing that that just gets to me till today is like, don't stress about it, it'll happen.
Oh my goodness.
Like, no, that is like the worst thing you can tell someone who is battling infertility, is that don't stress and that it'll get better.
Do you feel that actually then you end up stressing even more?
Yeah,
Right?
one is that, but because like when you I'm not going to be feeling this way. It's not because of my stress.
Yeah.
Like you get what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah, and like people miraculously tell you like, okay, go on a holiday. It'll work
Yeah.
out, or like God has His plans for you and all of that. Like I think it's optimistic. It's all coming from a good space.
Yeah.
But it is not what the person wants to hear. So like, I think like what you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So like whenever I take a negative pregnancy test, I just look at it and it hurts. I break down. And at that moment, all I need is what you do actually. You just sit next to me and you just give me a hug. You don't have to say anything. It's just basically somebody's presence that's basically telling you that it's okay. And sometimes it's also okay to tell the person, like, I really don't know whether we will even have a child.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the optimism of like, we will be okay or we will be fine. Or like when family members tell us that you have to have a child, like you want to go on a holiday with your child. What happens if you can't?
Yeah.
Am I then not part of
true.
the family? Am I then not accepted for who I am? So I think there's so much more than that I think why it hurts. I can speak from the women perspective. I think that's why it hurts. It's because it's very lonely. And like oftentimes like I do have people who also tell me like, I don't know how to help you. I'm not on the same journey.
Yeah.
But what if somebody lost a parent?
Yeah.
Would you not know how to help them just because you've never lost one? You would try.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think these are like the little things that I wish if anyone here knows someone who's going through this, just check up on them. Yeah. And just ask them if they're okay. You don't really have to do anything actually.
Yeah.
And just I think it'll mean a lot to them.
That's, I think what you've just shared is very, very insightful. Because I think, I get where you're coming from, when you're talking about, when we talk about things like optimism, you can do this, that, and everything. Actually, if we dig it deeper, sometimes it can be a place which is very vulnerable to touch on, to go deeper. So you kind of like
Mask it.
yeah, I don't know if the word mask it, but you kind of say certain things like a mantra or something.
Like a fake it till you make it kind of thing.
No, not a fake it till you make it, but you kind of say certain things to plaster a little bit of it. That you do, it doesn't paint.
But
right?
that's the part that I think it differs from men and women, right? So like, I think men maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, like it's easier to cover it with something then go into it. Like, but for women on the other hand, I think like when you're feeling something, I think we want to tap into that, and then like we know what's bothering us, and like we want someone to actually hear us out and hold space. And like not cut you off halfway, not look at you at like, okay, can you speed up, what are you trying to say? Just actually be there and sit with you through it, which is something that when I speak to a lot of other women who are in very similar situation as we are at the moment, it's the same thing. So I always ask them, like, do you have support? Like, do you feel seen and heard? And it's true. Like, of course we have support. Everybody tells us that it's going to be okay. And like everybody's like cheering us on. But you can't deny that it is very lonely. And it's because like I think the actual feeling that you feel is not addressed. Like as I mentioned earlier, it's a very delicate situation, I guess.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely. I think there is an element of I guess maybe, from what you're talking about, like from a women's perspective, how if I got this right, you like, you'll touch on an emotion and you want to go deeper in it and you want to uncover and understand. And this is something personally for me that I've been trying, really getting in touch with our own internal feelings.
Because if you're not in touch there, then you can't really
Yeah,
show up for me.
you can't
anyways.
exactly. And it's definitely been a journey. It has been and I think we're not yet to the level I guess we would want to be, but I hope we would one day get to to that level. But I just wanted to ask, like, when you are in this process, I mean, maybe I'll go in a little bit deeper and ask this question. You mentioned, what is in your mind when you take a pregnancy test and it is negative? What is the first thing which comes in your mind?
That's the funny thing, right? You don't really think with your mind. I think it's a matter of the heart, right? So you feel like probably like, you build up, like women you have the cycle. So, you go through it.
Yeah.
So like your ovulatory phase, and then you go through it, and then you're just waiting for the day that, okay, you hope that you don't get your period because that's,
Yeah,
a sign
that
that you're
is it.
pregnant.
Yeah.
So in that 2 weeks, you probably envision a life of being pregnant or
Okay.
that, okay, what it
Yeah.
would be like if
Yeah.
you actually had a positive
Yeah.
pregnancy test. And I guess when it's negative, then I guess it's in a way it sounds very I'm exaggerating probably, but it's a very real feeling. It's probably like, that particular crystal ball that you held in your hand, it just fell down and it basically, what is the word? It's broken.
Broken.
Yeah. So the hope that you built in the last 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're repeating that cycle again and again and again till a point that you realize that you are numb. Like for me, like nowadays, I don't even have an emotion to it. Like I have a box. I don't know whether you've seen
Yeah,
next to
yes.
next to my bed. I have
Yeah.
a box of like baby's clothes, and I keep things there. It's something for me to remain strong my
Yeah.
way, but I haven't opened the box in 2 months because it's just that hard. So I just take the pregnancy negative test, and I'll just probably that's the only time I open it briefly and put it in. So to answer your question, it's it feels like a shattered hope, basically. Yeah, and then you're just like repeating it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
We talked a lot about the challenges and everything, right? But I'm guessing that this journey has also taught us a lot. But how has this affected other parts of your life, like say career, health, those sort of things?
From maybe we'll start off first from a health perspective. I think when you talk of having a child, it's not a one person, it's actually two people. So I think from a health perspective, there's two elements. You are a lot more careful as to what you are doing, in a sense of, like, example, you would want to ensure that you're working out. But you see, there's an element when you're talking of working out, you're not working out aimlessly. You have a reason behind why you're doing what you're doing. And I think the other element for it has got to be, funny as it sounds, I mean, you might disagree with me on this, when we talk of food consumption. Actually, for me, as much as I'm actually being a lot more mindful what I have. I know I can be a little bit, I still do, we do go off course a bit, but I do actually be a bit careful now what I'm consuming.
Yeah, I
I
can see
mean,
that,
like an
yeah.
example, I would say, it's a joke, but just saying of the late night nasi kandas, for
Yeah,
example.
I haven't seen that in a while. Yeah.
So that will be maybe apart from the health aspect of it. I would like to ask you, how has it, in this challenge of, we've gone through and everything, how has it helped you maybe from a lifestyle perspective?
I think like for me, of course, like, when you go for your checkups and when you
Yeah.
meet your doctors, I think they would always tell you, like, of course, while they're trying everything that they can, or like there's medical interventions, you have to be fit
Yeah.
physically as well. There's a lot of lifestyle tweaks. There were a lot of lifestyle tweaks that I had to make. Some were pretty drastic. Like if you notice, I threw away all of our plastic pans and
Yeah.
Tupperwares and
Yeah.
because those items contain like endocrine disruptors, right? So that was one lifestyle shift. But I think it's also learning to look after myself externally and internally. So I think they always emphasize about stress. Like although we hate hearing it because
Yeah.
people always tell you don't stress. But I mean, from like a medical standpoint, it is true. Like when your cortisol levels are high, it does affect your fertility. So I think like on my end, I think there's a lot of stress management, eating the right kinds of foods. And I think the current book that I'm reading actually has tremendously helped me to understand my cycle. But I think it's something that requires a lot of work. And I wish
Yeah.
someone told me that. Like coming into this, honestly, when we were young, our parents would, I mean, I don't know whether you've had this conversation with your parents, but my mom would always subtly tell us, oh, be careful not to get pregnant, making it seem like it was something that was like that.
Yeah.
But the truth of it is that it's not like that for everyone. Yeah. So I think the lifestyle shift is also mentally telling myself that it's not the same for everyone and that it actually happens to a lot of people, So I think it's mentally, physically, and from like a work perspective, it was very difficult, especially I work alongside clients, my clients who, of course, I work with a lot of kids as well.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I had to also learn to kind of separate and not allow it to affect me at work. But the truth of it is that it also reminds me every single day why I value this so much. It's also
Understand.
because it's in me, right?
Yeah.
It affects, it's a part of my job. It is something, hence why it makes me understand why it's very sensitive to me as well.
Understand.
Yeah. So, but from a work perspective, I have clients who are very understanding. Some of my clients know about this. I share with them because it's a human thing, right?
Yeah, it
And there
is,
are many
yeah.
of my clients who also go through. You'd be quite surprised that some of the best advice I've heard about like infertility is actually from my clients. Actually, there was one particular
Wow.
one that shared with me her IVF journey, and we actually sat in the consultation room and we cried together. But I
Wow,
never felt so seen and heard in that moment. So I think it's one of those things that ripple effect. I just want to add on that is that I'm very grateful for you, is because like every single time I bring about these changes, like you've never ever asked me like, what are we doing, why are you throwing away these pants, what are you buying? Like even nowadays, like I make this like really high protein fertility friendly lunches and I pack, and I saw you yesterday eating it, like you were excited to have it as well. And like I think it's those little things that indicate support. Like you asked me earlier, right? So like that's got nothing to do with optimism, but it's
Yeah.
just someone telling you that, hey, I'm in this with you. And I think that's exactly what you need in the process. So I'm very grateful and very thankful to you for that. And I always tell you like, okay, I need to clock in my 10K steps.
Yeah.
Like, that was like what my doctors told me is like, I have to lose a little bit of weight, and you have been incredibly supportive. So I'm very, very grateful for that.
Thank you. I will always be supportive. I mean, just touching on the 10K steps. She's, my wife is so adamant about it that even sometimes in the apartment, she's literally walking up, down, back, front, and
Yeah, I'm
and
very
we're very competitive because I know the moment we get up, she uses the Apple Watch
Yeah.
and she walks around constantly. And then at the end of the day, I look at my watch, I'm like, why does my steps feel a bit a lot lesser than hers? And she keeps on saying, well, because I started it much earlier.
It's like literally the first thing I go to when
Yeah.
I wake up in the morning.
You know.
Yeah, but I think it's like those little gentle reminders I tell myself, like I'm doing everything that I can.
Yes.
It actually signifies, it means something.
Exactly.
Yeah, like you're trying to take control of the situation because you don't have control of the outcome.
Correct.
But you try to do these things so that you kind of feel like, okay, I'm doing something.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
One emotion you didn't expect to feel.
I think an emotion that I never expected I would feel in this journey is probably jealousy. It's a very uncomfortable emotion, but I've also come to realize that it's okay to feel that way. And it's not coming from a space of bitterness, it's coming from a place of longing.
For me, would be feeling at times helpless, not knowing sometimes what to do.
One parenthood belief you are unlearning.
I think for me, one thing that I've had to unlearn in this journey, I think it's about timing. So I think like oftentimes people tell you that, okay, as soon as you get married, I think it's the right time, have a child, but when is the right time? There is no right time. And unfortunately, it's something that's not in your control. So I think that's something that I had to unlearn, was realizing that having a child is not in your control, basically.
For me, it would be, it's not as easy as what you would think it would be.
A book that gave you perspective in this.
For me, the book would have to be Overcoming Infertility. I think this book has been really, really good because it has explained a lot of things that I definitely did not know.
I think for me, it would be, this book. It's called The Big Fat Negative. So when I picked it up first, I thought that this book is going to trigger me, obviously, because it's another negative thing. But honestly, I've never felt so heard and seen reading a book. The experiences of so many other women who go through this very difficult emotion. So if any of you guys are in this season and if you are struggling with infertility, know that you're not alone and that there are people out there who would understand you.
And if you've got any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe.
Here's to the turning points that shaped us.